Hi everyone, it's Abhinav from PhoneBunch and welcome to our full review of the Asus Zenfone Max. Now, Asus announced the Zenfone Max at the Zen Festival, but it was launched in 2016 in India. It comes with a 5.5-inch display and a massive 5000 mAh battery. Inside the box, you'll get some user guides, a USB OTG cable because this phone supports reverse charging, and you also get a micro USB to USB data syncing and charging cable, and sadly just a 1 amp adapter. This phone doesn't support fast charging and takes a long time to charge. Coming to the build, you'll find the volume rocker and power button on the right instead of the back in the Zenfone 2 series, and that's a great change. The buttons don't wobble, however they don't have that satisfying click. At the top you'll find the audio jack surrounded by a faux metal finish which neither looks gaudy nor does it look premium. At the bottom of the device you have the primary microphone and the micro USB port. Moving to the back, you have a 13 megapixel camera, noise cancellation mic, laser autofocus sensor and dual LED flash. On the insides you will see that you have two separate SIM card slots, a micro SD card slot and that massive 5000 mAh non-removable battery. Now in the front you get a notification LD, 5 megapixel camera, on-screen buttons which again don't light up. The design is very similar to the Zenfone 2 laser. In fact, it's almost a copy apart from the button layout. Now coming to this display, it actually is quite sharp. It is a 720p panel, 5.5 inches in size, but still is decently clear, has good color reproduction, wide viewing angles as well. It's not the most bright display that we have seen in this price bracket, but still quite legible outdoors. You have to factor in the price here. You also get Corning Gorilla Glass 4 protection on top. Now coming to network and call quality, we didn't have any major issues with network as such. Call quality was also just about decent. It's not the best, noise cancellation doesn't work that well, but overall it's still passable. Wi-Fi hotspots, Bluetooth as well as USB tethering all did work out fine in our testing. And this is a 4G LTE capable device. You have dual SIM card slots, both of them support 4G connectivity, and GPS also did work fine for the most part. Now coming back to this camera, it doesn't seem to be the same sensor as the Zenfone 2 laser. Images do turn out a bit muddy. Now if we talk about this camera interface, again you have the same one here. Lots and lots of options. You also have a pro mode or manual mode to say. Lots of options really, you won't even need those. Auto mode generally does work out quite fine. And you can go ahead and tweak saturation, contrast, all those different settings as well. You can record 1080p videos with the rear camera, but video quality is nothing to write home about. They're pretty soft. The front facing camera is quite disappointing too. It takes very noisy selfies, you can just see that, especially on the sides. Now let's have a look at some of the samples that we have captured. Now in good lighting, this camera captures decent amount of details. Colors look a bit overpronounced, especially the greens, and if you have some yellow in it, the whole image actually turns out a bit warm. Greens are highlighted definitely, you can see that here too. Highlights are overexposed at times, and there's not much detail here. The camera has issues with focusing on macro objects. Now we are not comparing this to a high-end smartphone, but the Zenfone 2 laser actually performed quite better. You can see the distant shots here too. They do turn out quite blurry. Not much detail at all. To reduce noise further, the Pixel Master algorithm further reduces details. In low light, the camera just doesn't want to focus, and the lack of detail is very apparent there. You can see these shots too, these are in low light. The flash isn't that effective here. Overall, both the cameras are a bit on the average side, they are not that great and they just get the job done. Now talking about audio quality, that was actually pretty decent. We used the Zen ears which actually don't come within the box, but we tested out with other headsets as well and audio quality was generally quite good. The speakerphone here is decently loud. It's not the loudest. FM radio is also supported and does work out quite fine. Overall general performance is quite okay here. Video playback was generally smooth too. Now let's come to software. So this phone is running Android 5.0 Lollipop with ZenUI on top. Now we are already familiar with ZenUI, lots of customization, lots of options to choose from. You can edit pretty much everything including your notification quick toggles. Overall, it's one of the better interfaces on top of Android. But we would like an update to the recent versions because it has been quite long. Now out of that 16 gigs of onboard storage, you will get about 10 odd gigs. USB OTG is also supported, and you can move app and app data both to the external SD card. So pretty much limitless options here. And you can also use the USB OTG cable within the box to charge other devices because you have that massive 5000 mAh battery. We'll get to the charging times and everything in a short while. Now there are some nifty features, as I said earlier as well. You have double tap to get into one-handed mode, and if we get to performance, it was actually pretty alright. Web browsing did work out quite fine. There is a slight stutter in the interface at times, and apps do take slightly longer to load. You can see that here too. If you open 2-3 apps, generally the last one actually gets killed pretty quickly, so RAM management isn't the best. And when we moved to gaming as well, it was quite apparent that even with 2 gigs of RAM, this phone doesn't perform as well as the Zenfone 2 Laser. At high settings, Asphalt 8 was a bit laggy. And when we moved to Nova 3, it was almost unplayable. So we switched to different modes and battery to check out if that affected performance. Actually, it remained pretty much the same. So in general, performance is a bit inconsistent, and we did notice a bit of lag in the higher end games. But yeah, this phone doesn't heat up, that's a bonus point. Now the battery on the device takes more than 4 hours to charge fully with the included charger. With the 2 amp charger, you will get a faster charge. But the hallmark of this device is really battery life. We were able to get about 11 hours of screen on time over more than 2 days of use. So that is absolutely brilliant, especially with very heavy usage. So you can easily get more than 2.5 days worth of use with this device, and that's a huge bonus. You don't have to fret about charging this device, but when you do, it is going to take a long time. Now the Zenfone Max doesn't look that great. The design is pretty dated and it does feel a bit hefty as well. At about 200 grams, this is quite a heavy device, but then you already know that because this one has a massive 5000 mAh battery. Overall, the build is pretty solid here. Battery life is just stupendous. But with mediocre cameras, average performance, there is a lot going against this. I would still pick the Zenfone 2 Laser over this one, or even the Moto G3 for a far better user experience. But if you fret about battery life the most and don't want to carry a bulky power bank with you, then the Zenfone Max definitely makes sense. Well folks, with that we come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let us in the comment section, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And as always, have a great day.